Imagine this. You wake up, you check your phone, you scroll for 20 minutes, and you think nothing of it. Later, you say yes to something you didn't really want to do. Again, you shrug it off. And at night, when you finally get some time for yourself, you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Sounds normal, right? Harmless. But what if I told you these little habits, these normal behaviors, are the silent killers of your self-belief? Most people think confidence is destroyed by one big failure. Losing your job. Getting rejected. Messing up a big presentation. But that's not true. Confidence doesn't usually collapse overnight, it leaks away slowly. Drop by drop. Choice by choice. Until one day, you wake up and you don't trust yourself anymore. So, let's talk about it. Because if you can spot these behaviors and cut them out, you'll stop that slow leak. And instead of doubting yourself, you'll start to rebuild your inner strength. The first silent killer? Breaking the promises you make to yourself. Think about it. You say you'll wake up early. You don't. You promise yourself you'll eat healthier. You cave at the first craving. You decide you'll finally work on that dream project. But weeks pass, and nothing happens. Now, on the outside, no one else may notice. Life goes on. But inside, your brain is keeping score. Every time you say one thing and do another, you teach yourself, my word doesn't matter. You stop believing in your own voice. And here's the scary part, you don't even notice it happening. Until one day, when something important comes along, and you hesitate. You doubt. Because deep down, you've trained yourself not to trust your own promises. Second, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. We all do it. You open Instagram or YouTube, and what do you see? Perfect bodies. Perfect couples. Perfect success stories. And your brain whispers, look at them. Look at you. It feels harmless, even motivating sometimes. But constant comparison plants a subtle poison. Instead of focusing on your own progress, you measure your worth against someone else's peak moment. Imagine running a race, but instead of looking at your own track, you keep staring into the other lanes. What happens? You stumble. You fall. And here's the tragedy, you start believing that no matter what you do, it'll never be enough. Not because it isn't, but because you've been looking in the wrong direction the whole time. Third, seeking approval before you act. Now, I'm not saying advice is bad. Guidance is valuable. But ask yourself honestly, how many times have you held back because you were waiting for someone else to validate you? You had an idea. A dream. Something you wanted to try. But before you took the first step, you asked 3 friends, a mentor, maybe even strangers online. And when they hesitated, so did you. Slowly, this becomes a habit. You stop trusting your instincts. You start outsourcing your decisions. And without even realizing it, you give away your power. You become a passenger in your own life, waiting for someone else to drive. Nothing destroys self-belief faster than that. And here's the fourth one, dismissing your own wins as nothing special. Let me ask you, how often do you celebrate yourself? When you finally get through a tough workout, do you say, it was just 20 minutes? When you finish an important task, do you brush it off with, anyone could have done that? See, every time you minimize your wins, you rob yourself of the chance to build confidence. Because confidence isn't built only on big achievements, it's built brick by brick on small victories. By ignoring them, you tear down your own foundation. Over time, you start believing you're not capable, not talented, not enough. When in reality, you've been winning more than you give yourself credit for. So let's bring this together. Confidence doesn't collapse in one blow, it erodes. Slowly. Quietly. Through everyday choices that seem normal. Breaking your own promises. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Seeking permission before acting. Dismissing your wins. Do these long enough, and you won't just feel less confident, you'll stop believing in yourself entirely. But here's the good news. The opposite is also true. Keep your promises, no matter how small. Focus on your own lane. Trust your gut more often. Celebrate even the tiniest wins. Do these daily, and your self-belief will grow like compound interest. Stronger. Unshakable. Unstoppable. So now the question is, where do you start? What's one small promise you can keep today? One thing you can do without asking for permission? One win you can celebrate, even if no one else sees it? Think about it. Write it down. And act on it. Because confidence isn't found, it's built. And you build it one choice at a time. If this hit you, don't just move on. Share your thoughts in the comments, tell me which of these habits you see in yourself. Hit that like button if this gave you something to think about. And if you want more straight-to-the-heart reminders like this, subscribe. Because your confidence, your self-belief, it's not a luxury, it's your foundation. And it's time to protect it.